Today we're talking about how you can pass the reading module of your English language test with flying colors. Just imagine walking into your English exam and feeling zero fear, but you're calm and in control, answering the questions with confidence. The truth is that reading is often the make or break part of the IELTS, the CELPIP or the PTE core exams. People fail reading a lot. But today we'll talk about why people fail, what pitfalls you can avoid, and insider tips to secure those high scores so you can get your Canada permanent residency. Now, why is reading so feared? It's because of the long passages, the tricky questions, and that relentless time pressure. In fact, one of the biggest fears in the reading exam is, what if I don't finish on time? But don't worry, every fear has a solution, and I'm about to give you the solution in this video. We will start with the IELTS reading under IELTS General. The IELTS General Training reading lasts for 60 minutes and contains 40 questions in 3 sections. You face a variety of question types like multiple choice questions, true, false, not given statements. They also ask you to match headings to paragraphs. You have fill in the blanks, matching information or features where you find which paragraph contains certain information and you match them, and of course much more. It already sounds confusing, I know, but passing is all about strategy. I am going to tell you why people struggle. The first reason that people struggle is time management issues. Answering 40 questions in 60 minutes means you can't afford to read every word of the passage. Many people try to read the entire passage in detail and therefore they run out of time. Others get stuck on one tough question and they lose precious minutes trying to answer that one question. Just move on. All the questions carry equal marks, so don't let one passage eat up all your time. The second reason people struggle is because they misunderstand the questions. IELTS loves to paraphrase, so if you misread or misinterpret the question, you're searching for the wrong thing in the answer. So for instance, the true, false, not given questions are very confusing. False means the passage contradicts the statement you are answering, whereas not given means the information isn't there at all. Many people mix these things up and so they get the answers wrong. Many times people panic and they start doing guesswork because, truth be told, the pressure of the IELTS is so much that as soon as people notice the time is running out, they just start picking random answers. Many people have told me this, but random guesses can hurt you because they could be wrong, and a wrong answer is 0 points. It's better to make an educated guess than answering randomly. Now that we know why you may struggle, let's talk about the tips and the tricks that can help you pass the IELTS reading. The first tip is this: skim then scan. Now let me explain. Don't try to digest every word at first. Just skim the passage quickly to grasp the main idea and the structure of the passage. Skimming means speed reading. After that, you tackle the questions by scanning for keywords or synonyms. So you skim the page and then you scan the questions. This 2-step reading saves time and it helps you locate the answers faster. The other thing that you want to do is to divide and conquer. A great technique is to allocate time per section. For example, decide to spend 15 to 18 minutes on each of the 3 sections and stick to that. And if a question is taking too long, mark your best guess and move on. You can come back to it if time allows. It's better to have attempted all the questions than to leave an entire passage untouched. Please make sure that you read the questions carefully. Underline keywords in the questions. Pay attention to tricky wording. Words like always, most, some, or negative words in questions like which of these is not included. Negative questions are so confusing. A misunderstood question will lead to a wrong answer. Make sure you know exactly what you're looking for in that question. Now let me give you an example. This is a passage snippet that we're going to read now. Tea production began in China, and it wasn't until later that the British established plantations in India. Now the question states, the first tea plantations were established in India. Many see first in India and they hastily answer true, but it's actually false because the first tea production was in China. So even if the answer seems obvious to you, just calm down a bit and double check if the passage truly supports the statement you are choosing. Now, if you're taking IELTS on paper, remember that there's no extra time to transfer answers when the exam is done. So please write your answers directly on the answer sheet as you go, or leave a couple of minutes at the end to transfer from the question booklet to the answer sheets. And please check spelling, because spelling mistakes or writing yes instead of true or vice versa will cost you marks. Now, what I want to say next is very important, so please note it. You have to practice under pressure. Simulate exam conditions when you are practicing. Use a 60-minute timer for 3 passages. This will help you build stamina and train you to handle that time crunch in the actual exam. Also, when practicing, review your mistakes carefully. Was it a vocabulary issue? Did you misunderstand the question? Was it a time issue? Then learn from each mistake so that you don't repeat it on the test day. From what we just went through, it is obvious that the reading is not beans. You don't just practice, you need exact strategy. So if you really want a step-by-step hand-holding guide for the IELTS, I would recommend the No Stress Band 8 IELTS program. This program has helped many people like you to pass IELTS, especially reading with flying colors. Just go check it out. The link is right here on the screen. It's also in the description. Now let's talk about CELPIP reading. And if you are getting value and you want to support me, please like and share the video. And of course, subscribe. Thank you very much. So the CELPIP general reading test is also around 55 to 60 minutes and it's fully computer delivered. It has 4 parts with a total of 38 questions, though one part of the exam might not be scored, but you don't know which one. Here's a breakdown of the CELPIP reading exam. Part 1 is reading correspondence. It has 11 questions to be answered in 11 minutes. You read an email or a letter and you answer questions about it. Part 2 is reading to apply a diagram. It's 8 questions in 9 minutes. This might show you something like an instruction sheet, a brochure, or a schedule along with a related message. Part 3 is reading for information. It has 9 questions in 10 minutes. Here you get an article or a report asking about something or specific facts. Part 4 is reading for viewpoint. It has 10 questions in 13 minutes. This one is a bit more challenging. You read a text presenting different opinions or arguments on a topic, and then you answer questions about it. Importantly, all CELPIP reading questions are multiple choice or matching style with choices. There's no writing out answers. You always select from options. Many people say it's easier than the IELTS reading, but it can be tricky too. Now, some reasons why people fail the CELPIP reading include lack of familiarity. Some people underestimate CELPIP thinking, oh, it's general everyday English. It's simple. But each part has a unique format. If you haven't seen a reading to apply a diagram task before, you might waste time figuring out what to do. So not knowing the question types is a recipe for confusion. And just like the IELTS, there is time pressure. The clock in CELPIP ticks for each part separately. You can't borrow time from part 1 to use in part 4. Within 10 to 13 minutes, you must read and answer 10 questions. Then that one ends and you are on to the next. People fail if they spend so long reading the passage and then they scramble to answer the questions. Timing is tight, especially in parts 3 and 4 as the text gets longer. Some people find it difficult to read on a screen. CELPIP is computer-based only. If you're not used to reading long text on a screen, you might get lost or your eyes might feel strained. Scrolling up and down like this throws some people off and they just get confused. And just like IELTS, there are top tips and strategies that can help you pass the CELPIP reading. The first one is so important, and that is knowing the format and instructions. Before the exam day, be crystal clear on what each part of the exam demands. Practice each part separately. The official CELPIP site and preparation materials have sample tests. Please use them. When you start part 1, you should already know it's an email with straightforward questions, so you can dive in confidently. There are no surprises there. Again, please skim to get the gist of the passage, then focus. In part 1 and part 2, quickly skim the email or the diagram text to get the situation. Ask yourself, okay, what is all this about? Once you grasp the context, the questions will make more sense. Then you can scan for details. For part 3 and 4, skimming is very vital because it will help you know where to look when a question comes up. Now, there's one trick for CELPIP that I want to let you know. Please listen. Try to answer the questions while reading the passage. For instance, in part 1, they usually have the questions in order. So read the first paragraph, glance at the first question, and you might already see the answer. This can save time instead of you reading the whole email, then going back to the questions and back like that. Also, please practice timing for each part. Train yourself with a timer for each section. It's 11 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and 13 minutes respectively. Remember, all questions are 1 point each. So don't spend 5 minutes on one hard question. Guess it, flag it, and move on. No matter what happens in the exam, stay calm. The advantage of multiple choice is that the answer is in front of you. If you are unsure, use elimination. Usually 2 options are obviously wrong if you scrutinize them well. Then make an educated guess between the remaining 2 answers. And never leave a question blank. There's no penalty for guessing in CELPIP or even IELTS, so always choose an option. You might just be right. I will give you an example CELPIP reading question. Suppose you get an email about a hospital appointment. It says this: please plan to arrive about 30 minutes before your appointment to allow time to sign the consent forms. A likely question is, why must the patient arrive 30 minutes early? If you understood the email, you would answer to complete necessary consent paperwork. Another line might say, we require that you bring your photo ID and insurance card to your first appointment. So if you are asked, what should the patient bring? The answer is right there in front of you. I'm not going to answer, but please leave the answer in the comments if you saw it. The key again is to read carefully for such details. So if you are taking CELPIP, you've got this. I know you got this. The last one that we will examine is the PTE core, which is the Pearson Test of English. The PTE core for Canada Immigration has a reading section that is very similar to PTE Academics. It's a computer-based test where reading is integrated with some writing tasks. You get about 30 minutes, give or take a few, to answer a series of reading questions. The twist for the PTE is that the sections are group time, meaning that the clock counts down for the whole reading part and you manage your time across all questions. PTE reading question types include reading and writing, fill in the blanks. Reading, fill in the blanks. It's drag and drop. They also have reorder paragraphs. This is a set of sentences or short paragraphs in random order. You must arrange them in the correct logical sequence. They also have multiple choice, multiple answers, which is a short passage and a question with several correct options out of 5 to 7 choices. You must select all that apply. These questions have negative marking, so selecting a wrong option will deduct points from that question. The 5th one is multiple choice single answer. This is a passage with 1 question and only 1 correct option. For the PTE, all reading tasks come one after another on your screen. The total number of questions can change, but it's usually around 13 to 18 questions in total. PTE core is very tricky, so now we're going to discuss the common reasons that people fail PTE core reading. The first reason is not prioritizing high-value questions. In PTE, not all questions are equal. For example, the fill in the blanks and reorder questions carry a lot more points than multiple choice questions. A big mistake is treating each question with equal time. Don't waste too long agonizing over a low point multiple choice question and then you rush through the fill in the blanks. It's not a wise decision. The second reason is weak vocabulary or collocation knowledge. The fill-in-the-blank questions often test if you know the right word collocations and context. For example, only one word logically completes a sentence like, the scientist's groundbreaking discovery was dash, earning her international recognition. If you don't know the nuances, that a positive word like remarkable fits not a negative word like insignificant, you might put a wrong answer in. Many people fail because they rely on general knowledge, not realizing which word fits in naturally. People also have issues with the reorder logic. Reordering paragraphs can be like solving a puzzle. People fail here by either panicking or not understanding how to link sentences. If you misorder, you only get partial credit for whatever adjacent pairs you did get right. Without a strategy, you can waste a lot of time here. Negative marking anxiety is another reason that people fail. For the multiple choice answer questions, the fear of losing points can paralyze some people. They overthink and they sometimes select too few or too many options out of fear. Both extremes can hurt you. If you leave correct answers unselected or you choose incorrect answers, both of them are problems. Honestly, it's a balancing act that can freak people out who don't practice enough. There's also something called reading fatigue that makes people fail. PTE passages aren't as long as the IELTS, but the test is fast-paced and fatigue or lack of focus can cause you to make silly mistakes. Mistakes like dragging the wrong word even though you knew the right answer. Many people fail to finish on time because they lost concentration for a minute or two. If you have ever experienced any of these issues, tell us your experience in the comments below. I'm sure there are people here who want to learn from you and your experiences. Having said all of this, how do you pass the PTE reading test? I will share some tips and tricks with you now. First, focus on filling the blanks first. These are the heavyweights. In practice, give them the most attention. During the test, don't rush them. Then make sure that you master the art of collocations. PTE is big on testing if words naturally go together. For example, commit a crime versus do a crime. When practicing, if an option sounds off, maybe it is off. For instance, the phrase deeply apologize is a collocation, but the phrase strongly apologize would be odd. You need to understand these nuances because they matter. Tackle multiple answers smartly. Since the word choices incur a penalty, don't just randomly pick and click all the options. You read the question carefully to know what you're looking for. You skim the passage for the answer and you select only the options that you are very confident about. Keep an eye on the clock as well. The PTE reading section's timer is shared. It is a marathon of quick decisions, so train yourself to keep a cool head under that countdown. Now let's do an example of a PTE reading in action. Let's illustrate a reorder question. So let's say you have these jumbled sentences. A, however, without consistent maintenance, even the best car will break down. B, cars have become an integral part of modern life. C, regular oil changes and checkups can extend a vehicle's lifespan. Now let's look at the logical order. First is a general sentence. B introduces the topic, cars in modern life. Sentence A starts with however, so it's likely contradicts with something before, so it cannot be the first sentence. Sentence C talks about maintenance explicitly. So C should come before A. First you say maintain the car, then A wants what happens without maintenance. Therefore, the best order is B, C, A. If you identified B as the independent opener, since it has no pronouns and it stands alone, then good job. In PTE scoring, even if you guessed the first sentence wrong but paired C and A correctly, you would get partial scores. This is why finding pairs and links is very crucial. If you're choosing PTE, maybe you're more comfortable with a computer test or you need the results fast because PTE results come very fast. The great news is that PTE can be passed with technique and practice. Make sure you practice and stay motivated by focusing on the progress you're making during your practice. Each mock test you do, note how many blanks you get right, how many seconds you saved on the reorders, how much you are passing or failing, what mistakes you are making, and then you go back and you correct the mistakes. By the time you do the practices over and over, whether it's the IELTS, the CELPIP, or the PTE, you yourself will know when you are ready for the exams. Hey, if you've made it this far, this tells me that you're serious about success. The reading exam, be it IELTS, CELPIP, or PTE, might seem like a mountain now, but every mountain is climbed step by step. You now have a backpack full of tools and techniques for the journey ahead. Please use them. Practice them. Each practice section, you'll get a bit faster, a bit sharper, and a lot more confident. Please don't forget to check out the No Stress Band 8 IELTS program for IELTS help. And remember, thousands of people have passed these exams before you, and many started where you are right now, scared and unsure, but they made it, and so will you. Always picture the moment when you see your results. Picture yourself getting the scores that you need, maybe even higher than you dared to hope for. Sometimes visualization leads to actualization. Your Canada PR is waiting, and this language test is just one of the gates to pass through. With these strategies we've shared, you're not just going to pass, you're going to excel. If you liked this series and you want me to talk about writing next, please leave it in the comments, or maybe you prefer listening. I don't know, whichever one you prefer, just leave it in the comments and I will choose the one with the most comments to talk about next. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.